Are you not the one I'm calling?
Are you like this parent? And I've heard from a number of parents how it can be frustrating when your child's screen and their devices get their attention more than you do. But it doesn't have to be that way. And definitely you don't have to resort to slapping and yelling. There are a few things you can do, like establishing clear boundaries around the screen. For instance, can your child use headphones when they're using their screens? Okay. You can also seek to replace excessive screen activities with other engaging and creative activities that can stimulate their mind. But if you're looking for fun, creative ways to get your child off the device, then join our 30-day creativity challenge coming up in April. It is designed to help your teenager explore their imaginative nature and reduce screen dependency in very exciting ways. The details are on your screen and you should register.
Okay, hello and welcome to Friday Live. My name is Edozie Eze and this is Teen Success Academy. It's good to have you on the show this afternoon. Let me know if you are live with me. Drop a chat in the comment section. Today, we are discussing a growing problem, the problem of overscheduling for teenagers. And parents are the ones guilty of overscheduling young people, right? So why is this an issue? And what are the consequences? How can we find a balance between all the activities that our teenagers have to commit to and then other things that are important in their lives? So as we go on in the conversation, I would like you to drop your experiences, share your thoughts in the comment section with me, and let's have a conversation in the next half hour or thereabout. And if you are catching a replay, also feel free to let me know that you are catching a replay. Excuse me. Okay, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know that you're catching a replay. Let me know where you're joining from. So we are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube as well. YouTube family, good afternoon. YouTube, Facebook family, good afternoon. Welcome to Friday Live. So recently, a parent consulted with me and we were discussing about the challenge with a teenager. And of course, she had to book a session for me to talk with this teenager in person. The challenge was that, oh, this guy is struggling with time management. He's not able to manage his time. He always has this and that going on. But after speaking with the teenager and looking at their timetables and seeing everything that was crammed up in there, at the end of the session, I had to talk to the parent and I said, your child does not have a time management problem. Your child has a problem with overscheduling. Your child has an overscheduling problem. And that is what formed the basis for our conversation this afternoon. I want us to talk about it. What is overscheduling? How has it affected you or your teenager? Pardon me, this afternoon I think I have a cough. We're just going to see how we work around with it. All right, so let's get right into it. What is overscheduling? Like I said, it is cramming up a person's schedule, cramming up your day with many structured activities. Keyword is structure. Many structured activities, and there is little or no free time. Parents are often also complaining about the fact that, oh, my teenager plays a lot, my son is always playing, that guy plays too much. Or you have another complaint that, okay, they talk too much, why is he always talking? Why is he? And I'm like, young people and play is like 5 and 6. In fact, play is part of the process for the average young person. And so sometimes the challenge, like I shared in the example, practical example, we're still working on that issue because we're trying to remake the young boys' schedule, remake their commitments. All right. So many times it's not a problem of time management. Many times it's not a problem of inability to keep commitments. It's a problem of over-committing your child in very different activities. I know you want this high-performing child, you want this A-class, I dare say alpha teenager, you want them to do so many things at a certain level. There's also a comparison factor I see with teenagers. There are so many reasons why this happens. Schools have somewhere. Society as a whole, we tend to push for equity amongst teenagers, and the fear is that free time teenager to laziness. You probably have also heard me say somewhere that one of the greatest dangers for young person is having a lot of time and not know what to do with it. Okay. Yes, that is value, but in itself, it's not the problem. It is free time that you don't know what to do with. Okay, so parents have their own share of blame. I think the blame is all around. We share the blame. Everybody will collect, like we say in Nigeria, right? Everybody has a blame. and millennials. I think this is something that most people can attest to. Hi, Chidima, good afternoon. Good to see you. If you're joining me, please drop a comment. I think I'm seeing some comments, and thank you for being here, Facebook and on YouTube. Wherever you drop a comment, I'll be able to respond to you. If you have a question or a thought or an experience, let's connect also. I was saying that when I went to school usually closed by 2 p.m. Like, we used to go to school very early, 7:30-ish, you're in school, and by 2 p.m. school has closed. But over time, we now introduce something like after school lesson. So school will close by 2, people will go home, and then 4 p.m. we'll now come back and start doing after school lesson. So like 4 to 6 after school lesson will happen. That was the gradual beginning of this whole thing about overscheduling. Then from then on, I don't know who 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds go to school as early as 6 and they come to the house as late as 7 p.m. And the persons that I interact with on these issues, what exactly is a young person learning for 12 hours in a day? And that is part of the problem. Okay. Then the parents have to be blamed also in some parts, because we have commitments. You're supposed to be at work and then you're not closing early. And so you need the school to also extend the time that you keep your children in school doing whatever it is that you want them to do. And after work, the children have to now move. So somehow in all of these issues, a new problem was born, and that problem is the overscheduling of the time of a young person. And overscheduling directly means that we have successfully removed play and social interactions from the lives of young people. It is an issue, and it is a very dangerous issue, because you as an adult will attest to the fact that overcommitment and overshine is a critical ingredient in the stress you have in your life. Overscheduling and overcommitment overscheduling is the reason why you have a lot of emotional issues. Sometimes when you see people who are just irritable, who are cantankerous, who are always, very uneasy and emotionally busting out at every little provocation or every little trigger, the root cause is usually not the immediate situations that you're looking at. It could be linked to stress from work, to debts and things that are happening that are not directly related to the matter in question. So picture that in the life of a young person who is still learning to manage all of these commitments. A parent once told me that I want my daughter to learn that adult life is like, is it that 12 that this person is going to learn that adult life is not easy? See, adult life is not easy on its own. That's why we need to allow children to be children for as long as they should be children. If you rush your child to grow up fast because you want them to know that adult life is not easy, then you rob them of their childhood. And there will be consequences for that. There will be consequences for robbing a young person of their childhood. A lot of mental health that we're seeing with young persons. I am first to acknowledge that sometimes the whole mental health conversation can be overrated sometimes. It does not remove the fact that there is a mental health epidemic in some parts of our society with young persons, because they are anxious, they are depressed, they are deprived of emotional connections, they have no connection with their parents, have no connection with the social substitution or system or whatever you like to call it. That is the crux of the conversation I'm asking us to have this afternoon, and things that I want us to think about as we go ahead. So I have a rule. I don't know whether this is how widely it is accepted, but it is the 70% rule in managing time. Your teenager should not be fully booked in question. If you study the lives of successful people, if you read the biographies of successful people, there is this image that media has projected of successful people as people who are always busy, people who are always working, people who do 12-hour days, you're working 70 hours a week and all of those kind of things. But in reality, if you check, some of the most successful persons that you admire and who they are not actually as busy as those media images that have been painted and created for you. So it's necessary that possible, just like adults, teenagers need a margin in their life. What a margin is? A page of a book that you're reading. If you open an exercise and those parts that we're using that are plain in themselves, if you think about it, there's a reason why your margins are on the left and on the right. and there is a space for you, and you're reading a book, and there is text every corner of the book from start to finish, you're going to find that it's a little stressful even to look at. So that there's a reason that books have margins, and teenagers need margins in their life. They need unscheduled time, time for reflection, time for rest, time for play, time for creativity. Play is a critical ingredient in the emotional and mental development of a child and of a young person, even as an adult. Right? My constituency and focus is on teenagers, but every human being requires time, balance across different areas of your life. It's not always going to be balanced. There wouldn't be always, equal amount of time to spread around everything you have to do. But we have to make intentional effort to ensure that our teenagers are not overbooked and not always busy with structured activity. The aim should be to do no more than 70% of the time of your teenagers. Let me paint a picture. So I've described a normal day of an overbooked teenager. The week they're off to school, they're not back until 6:30 p.m., sometimes 7 p.m. That is a typical day of an overbooked teenager. If you spread it out and look at the week, so they run that from Monday to Friday. Weekend is supposed to be for rest, for relaxation, and for play. But we find other ways to make sure that their weekends are also flogged with activities. So Saturday morning there's a lesson teacher, in the afternoon there's something else to do, and like that, and like that, and like that. And so there's no space. On Sunday, there is no space. We do that and do that and do that for 3 months of the term in school. Now the school is on holiday, school has given them 2 weeks break. You still find a way to collect the 2 weeks break from the child completely from start to finish. You find other things to schedule the break. You as a parent, you're not on break. So you have. I'm saying that there are legitimate reasons for why these things happen. Then we do it even for 2 terms, and there's a long vacation in August. Then we'll now come up with summer school. There's something else. So you find out that from January to December, every single day of a child's life, you have activities structured for them all through their lives. Overscheduling, I said, can lead to a loss of motivation, a loss of passion about certain things in their life. They used to be very, very motivated, they used to be very outgoing, and all of that has begun to experience burnout to function optimally anymore. Take the example: architects and builders who design buildings. There's a reason why in the land use laws of parts of the world, and even in this part where we live, you are required to create space on the property that you're building on. You're not allowed to build on 100% of a property. Laws require green spaces, ventilation, places for lighting, what do you call it, landscaping, and all of that. So if a city and if a property needs to function well, teenagers also need to function well, young people need to function well, our brains, our minds also need to function well. So a packed schedule will leave no room for intentional personal growth activities. Have you ever tried to overpack your suitcase? Have you ever tried to, as your family, mothers are experts in helping us pack our bags and make sure that everything fits inside of it. But imagine that you're stuffing your suitcase until it's about to burst, and then you're trying to zip it up. It becomes hard. Sometimes some things get wrinkled, some things get broken, and you get what I mean. The stress is just too much. A young person's mind and a young person's emotion can also be like you have an overloaded bag. You're going to damage a few things in the process. A young person's emotion like that, when it is overloaded, when the schedule is overpacked. And like I said, the science, you're going to find a young person who is constantly burning out, who is lashing out emotionally, outbursts, who has a sudden lack of motivation to do things that in normal circumstances. You're going to find a young person who's always stressed out. You're going to find a young person who starts to sleep at every corner and every little space where they find time. So as city planners, as town planners, and home planners create spaces, as your books require margin, as your farmland requires rest, and sometimes mixed cropping to be able to do well and yield great produce. I'm saying that leaving your child's mind a space to rest and replenish itself is an important component of the development of that young person. Teenagers need downtime to recharge. That's the reason I wrote the book, The Gift of Boredom. Okay, because all of this overactivity and the need to be very productive in our life, we've also transferred it to young generation. So they are very, very busy. And they are there's always something to do. And I'm arguing this is for young people, of course, because at the same time, an addiction to always needing something to do. But young people need downtime. You need a time where you are when you are thinking. You need a time when you are playing. You need a time when you are creating something that you describe. That's where inventions come. That's where ideas come from. That's where creativity comes from. You know, that time when you pick up a blank sheet of paper and then you just start to play around whatever comes into your mind. Those are the spaces when you can have moments, you know, a spark of creativity, a spark of innovation in the midst of structured activity. As a business person, you go to work from morning. If you're a business owner, you will relate with the fact that if you go to work in the morning at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., whatever time that you resume, you don't actually do creative work between 9 to 5. Between 9 to 5, what you're doing is relating with customers, trying to sell, trying to deal with HR issues, when you do creative work that business is after work hours, is when you have shut down from the structured activities. That's when you have time to probably take a course, do something, socialize. It's also part of that development process. So if we will understand how to help young people overly all the time. I think my network is glitching, but we are back now. Sorry about that. Okay. If we will understand the idea to help young people not be overly structured all the time, or to do, like I talked about, a kind of mix, cheating from very serious activity. I don't know when I talked about going to school in the morning and closing by 2 p.m. Between that 8 to 2 p.m., there are 2 breaks in between. I don't know now that schools are closing later, how many breaks they have, or if it's still the same 2 breaks in between. All right. Without rest, your child is losing, and they are going to struggle with deep thinking. They are going to struggle with critical thinking. The child is going to struggle with problem solving abilities. You need space. That is the essence of my conversation and argument with you today. And there are consequences for overscheduling your teenager. Those consequences, overscheduling can have very long-term effects on the teenager's mental, emotional, and physical well-being. There is a problem that I've mentioned over and again in this session is stress and anxiety. Constantly moving from one structured activity to another structured activity without time to breathe can lead your child to chronic stress. That pressure to excel academically, that pressure to have straight A's, that pressure to excel at a sporting event, that pressure to excel in every place and create and come home with the prize, you know, which when he talks about the trophy child to always come back with an award and things like that, that pressure can create anxiety in the life of a young person. It can create overwhelmed teenagers, and that overwhelm is going to struggle. Show panic attacks and other stress-induced illnesses that ideally are not supposed to be given to young people at that age. Okay, but it is a problem of this performance-minded society that we are creating. Performance is good, no doubt about it. But if that is the whole idea behind your parenting strategy, then there is a problem about it. I've also talked about the loss of motivation. If you suddenly have a child who has lost motivation to do anything, the teenage years and puberty in itself come with a lot of emotional struggles by the nature of the time for a person's development. But if you have a young person who was otherwise motivated and passionate about certain things, who suddenly has started to lose their motivation, who suddenly has started to lose their passion, that child is probably overloaded with activities. They are overloaded with obligations rather than things that they can enjoy. So it's a young person. What are your hobbies? They don't have hobbies. They have things that they are required to do. They don't have things that they do out of passion and out of excitement. The initial excitement that the young person will have for sports or for music or for learning will fade if their mind is fatigued. That initial excitement is going to, if the process is not properly taken care of, if the timing, if the scheduling is not properly. So you need a system that allows your child to take breaks. You need a system that allows your child to refresh, to rest, and to play. If not, they will lose interest in trying new things because everything will start to feel like a burden. And if everything starts to feel like a burden, then we might as well not be interested in doing any of that. I've spoken to you about burnout and exhaustion. Burnout is not only for adults. It used to be, but young people can be burnout. I've heard parents talk to teenagers and say, "What are you thinking? Why are you tired?" So a young person cannot be tired. What did you do that you are tired? They went to school and they're tired. A person who has mentally exerted themselves is supposed to be tired. And it will be insensitive for you as a parent not acknowledge that burnout can also affect your children at some point. And the symptoms of that burnout will include fatigue, it will include loss of concentration. So sometimes also the inability for a young person to focus on their activities is a problem that was created by overscheduling. Physical symptoms like always having headaches, and then generally lack of enthusiasm. All of these are signs that your child or your teenager is suffering from burnout. And then that's also something, maybe at some other time we'll look at how this also relates to addiction for a young person. Because a young person that is burnt out is predisposed to get addicted. Because burnt out people who are tired look for ways to escape whatever is causing that thing. Let me tell you the very simple one. So your teenager starts by depending on caffeine, depending on drinking coffee for them to be able to meet up with the commitments that they have. And then from coffee, one day they are going to not want coffee again. They are going to start trying energy drinks. From energy drinks, they are going to start doing other things. The issue of excessive screen time also is a byproduct of that, because if you're not intentionally creating space for outdoor play, engagement, and activity, then that will again worsen that exhaustion. I've been saying this in almost every live video now, that if you're tired at the end of the day and you try to escape with screens, you're going to realize that after a while you get more tired than you were before you started using the screen. See, we cannot even begin to understand the scope, the magnitude of problems that our phones have created for us, even as adults. It is now difficult for you to do a whole lot of things that are productive simply because you have a screen before you. So while I talk about screen addiction for teenagers, there's also addiction for adults. What are the other problems? Teenager, there is a problem of lack of creativity. I've mentioned before. There's a problem of a lack of problem solving and develop your critical thinking ability. Critical thinking is not developed in the business of doing aka productive activities. When you're working, you're working. When it's time to be productive, you need space to think creatively on how to aim that you're doing. When every moment of your child's life is planned, they miss the opportunity to be creative. They miss the opportunity to share, because you are the one handing out the timetable. You are the one handing out the plan. So you have created this plan, and their job is to follow the plan. They miss out on the ability to be creative, even in contributing to their own plans and activities that help them grow. Unstructured time, on the other hand, will allow them, opportunity for self-discovery, opportunity for self-expression, opportunity for innovation. But if you have overshadowed that child, then you are killing the process. How about the sleep issues that have come with overshadowing data? So your data is beginning to have poor sleep patterns and other health issues. If the child schedule is packed to a very large extent, then they're going to keep late nights. Realize that they go to sleep. Have you ever gone to sleep and you're lying down on the bed and you're unable to sleep because you have overworked yourself for the day? But that is even on another level. I'm saying that this teacher is trying to finish one homework because the school gave them 20 homeworks at the end of a day that finished by 6 p.m. Have 20 homeworks to do all over the night and things like that. There is no space to use this brain to develop through other activities. All right, there's no space to do hobbies, there is no space to play, there is no space to socialize. It will lead to sleep deprivation, and sleep deprivation will lead to things like the immune weaknesses. It will lead to things like mood swings. It will lead to things like a loss of focus and lack of concentration. And then you come to me and we start discussing distraction management. Of course, I will charge you money. Talk distraction management with your teenager, but I'm showing you the easy way out is to find a better structure for your teenager's time. Okay, so and then all of this is going to impact the relationship life of your teenagers, even within the family, and then relationship with their friends and their peers. Because every time there's always something to do. There's never a time for them to sit down and be young people. My challenge for you today is to allow your child to be a young person while they can. Stop rushing children. Stop rushing teenagers to grow up. Stop rushing teenagers to grow up. 18 years not too far. Very soon, they're the adults that you want them to be. And a lot of adult misbehaviors are rooted in childhood experiences that were negative. A lot of negative adult behaviors are rooted in negative childhood experiences. So you want to help your child develop a number of positive activities in their life that will enrich their adulthood. Today like this, you are still missing your childhood, but you are rushing your teenager to grow out of childhood as quickly as possible. That there's a place for that, but as it relates to what we're talking about, you need to have your teenager have structured and unstructured time around their schedule. Like I said, I don't want to get into a lot of the mental health conversations that relates to what we're discussing, but I've mentioned a few of them. I've also said that everybody has a role to play in this matter. There is a role for, I don't know, your work life. There's a role for the schools to play, but as parent, bring your child to, yes, productive, but understand that productivity is a result of proper time management. Productivity is a result of proper time management. The more you work, I for one, I can be a self-acclaimed workaholic. But you realize that the more you work, the less your cognitive abilities to be able to focus on more work. That's why after a while you need rest to refresh your mind so that you can come back to the work with more vigor and with more attention. In choosing the school for your teenagers, in choosing schools for your young person, you have to focus on places where they recognize that unstructured time is important and valuable for the development of your child. You have to keep that in mind as you are picking where to have your child go to school. Teenagers need to develop their independence. And part of developing that independence is allowing for time when they can do things on their own without really following a structure that you as an adult has created. So you want to prioritize. If you're trying to help your child create a balance, if you're trying to find a way out of this whole issue, you want to prioritize rest and play. Every young person needs that. Downtime is important for a healthy person. You need downtime for play, you need downtime for hobbies, you need downtime for reflection, you need downtime for sleep, you need downtime for your creativity. You need unstructured time. Encourage unstructured time is when there is nothing to do, just being what do you call it? Daydreaming. I don't like the word daydreaming, but you get what I mean. Allow your mind to be able to be creative. Allow your mind to play with thoughts, read books. That's why you still remember the novels that you read as a young person. Young ones no longer reading. The only thing they are doing is playing video games and things like that. And then set realistic goals for yourself. In all honesty, sometimes you set unrealistic goals as an adult or a young person. Set realistic goals. Focus on what truly matters rather than just filling up their calendar because I don't want you to be idle. Idleness creates laziness. I don't know where you got that from, right? I honestly don't know. But set realistic goals because leaving free time for your child does not automatically equate to allowing them to be stupid. You will realize that leaving free time for them is a wise option for their healthy development. And then we can now go to teaching them time management. We can now go to teaching them distraction management. We can now go to teaching them the ability to focus. But if all these other things are not in place, time management and distraction management is a secondary issue and it might not produce the results that you desire. So what do you think? Share with me in the comment section. Let me know what your experiences have been. Let me know what the effects have been for you when it comes to overscheduling your teenagers. And like I said, go get the book, The Gift of Boredom. Go get the gift of boredom for your child. Go get this other book. It is Overcoming Smartphone Addiction. If you're going to help your teenager to overcome smartphone addiction, and there are a number of other books that you might
Every. Are you not the one I'm calling?
Are you like this parent? And I've heard from a number of parents how it can be frustrating when your child's screen and their devices get their attention more than you do. But it doesn't have to be that way. And definitely you don't have to resort to slapping and yelling. There are a few things you can do, like establishing clear boundaries around the screen. For instance, can your child use headphones when they're using their screens? Okay. You can also seek to replace excessive screen activities with other engaging and creative activities that can stimulate their mind. But if you're looking for fun, creative ways to get your child off the device, then join our 30-day creativity challenge coming up in April. It is designed to help your teenager explore their imaginative nature and reduce screen dependency in very exciting ways. The details are on your screen and you should register.
Okay, so we're just about rounding off. Sorry about that. We're just about rounding up. I was speaking to you about books that you can get for your teenager, and those books are going to help them to better understand themselves, better gain self-awareness, and then understand how to manage their lives and their development as well. Okay, but you can join us for the 30 days creativity challenge. So we have a creativity challenge that's coming up in April from the 1st to the 30th of April. Join the 30-day creativity challenge for your teenager. You also help them learn how to use unstructured time, learn how to use downtime, learn how to use those times when they have for play, for rest, and for creativity. That essentially is the purpose of this conversation today, and I hope that you have found value. Like I was saying, share with me in the comment section. Let me know how your experience, what your experience has been, and how you have been able to manage time for your teenager in the past. All right. So thank you very much for spending time with me this afternoon. I'm going to wish you an interesting weekend. Enjoy the rest of the weekend until I see you again. So God bless you and take care.